You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe. From Mombasa, Kenya, this is Blue Radio. You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.
Hello. This is the Blue Radio, bringing you the vibe here. And it has been a very, very, very great afternoon. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute, because we have a great man in studio with us. And he's going to introduce himself. I'm not going to spoil the beans right now. But, okay. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, Dana. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very good,
thank you. How are you feeling today?
Very warm.
Ah, really? It's hot in here because there has been a lot of activities, right?
Absolutely.
Kindly, would you introduce yourself, sir?
So, very nice to be here. My name is Dominiek, Dominiek Dumoulin. I'm from Belgium. I'm 52 years old. I'm here together with my wife and 6 of our 7 children. And professionally, so I'm producing food for dogs and cats. The company is named United Pet Food. It is a company I created in 1994, so I'm getting very old. I started the company from scratch, so with one person, and we have been growing without exception for every year that we have been active producing food for dogs and cats. And today we are producing so in 21 different factories all over Europe with more than 2,000 people working in the company.
Oh, that's nice. Let's get to a point where you talk about what motivated you to start a food company for pets.
Well, in fact, my grandfather, he started animal feed, so that was feed for cows and chicken. He started in 1937, so that's a very long time ago. Then my father was also active in the same company for more than half a century, for more than 50 years. And I started after school in 1993. I started in the same factory. And then there was a friend of school with whom we always said we were going to make something together. And one evening we got together, and fortunately I only did this once in my life, and I really don't promote this, but I did it once. So during that night, that friend and myself, we had a whole bottle of whiskey. That was the only time in our life that we did that. I was sick for 3 days. My friend didn't drink any whiskey for 10 years. But during that night, that was the night that we decided to start production of pet food. That was absolutely the moment that we decided to say, okay, we're going to start. And the week later, we started from scratch in the pet food. We had no idea what we were going to do. We had no experience. We had no knowledge. We knew absolutely nothing. So we had to go and find people who wanted to help us. But in Belgium, we are from Belgium. In Belgium, nobody wanted to help because they saw in us a future competitor. And nobody was willing to help us. So we went to Holland, we went to France, we went to Germany. We even went to Brazil to find people who were willing to give us some advice, because it's very difficult to make good formulation, to know the good ingredients, and to be able to have a good food for cats and dogs. And that's how we started.
Well, as a young person starting a company, I think if it were me, and with all the struggles that you have named, how did you be able to maneuver? Was there a time where you thought, okay, this is taking a lot of time, I think I might as well go and get employed now because I don't want to do this anymore?
That's a very good question. So in the beginning, we worked very, very hard. We still work very hard. But in the beginning, we were losing money. So it was working daily, every day, 12, 14 hours. And at the end of the week, we still had losses, and we still had money from our own pocket that we had to put into the company. And that took more than 2 years. On a certain moment, even my dad, he said, boy, what are you doing? Shouldn't you stop this and go find some real job and some real work? So it was very difficult in the beginning. And there have been some moments that we really had our doubts whether to continue or not. So there was some very difficult moments because we always had our goals. We set our goals, we visualized our goals, and every time we achieved our goals, but we were still losing money. And luckily, we never gave up. We continued, and that's really a very important lesson to everybody in the world, never give up. Never to give up is always to continue, always to fall and get up again. That's a very important message.
I'd like to go back to a place where you said it started with your grandfather and then your father, and then you started your own. Why wouldn't you go with what your father had already started?
I also continued that activity, and then so both activities continued: the classical feed business and the pet food. And back in 2007, I asked my father if he agreed with me to divest the classical animal feed to another company, so that I was able to fully focus on the pet food, on the food for cats and dogs. And I went to see him and I said, listen, Dad, I would like to, just what I explained. And then he said, Dominiek, because I needed his yes, because he was the main shareholder of the classic feed at that moment. He said, my professional career is behind me. Your professional career is in front of you. You will decide, and whatever you will decide, I will support you. And that's how it went. And so then in 2007, we divested the animal feed, and that made me to be fully focused on the pet food.
Oh, wow. So at what point did you start seeing the fruits of your labor, since there has been a lot of struggles when you're trying to form this company? But at what time did you say, oh, wow, this is actually working for us?
That started when we were active for 3 years. So in 1997, that was the first time for us we got break even. That was the first time we were not losing money anymore. But of course, in the beginning, we had some losses from the past. But it was the first year for us. We were making new customers. We were making more important customers. We were starting also export from Belgium, because Belgium is a very small country. We only have 11 million people. And so that was really the most important year for us in order to be able to continue our activity.
So taking 3 years can look like a lot of time. And for a startup, maybe, do you think there are things you would have done differently to make that span shorter than 3 years?
If that would be possible, yes, but I don't think that's possible. I think every startup always is very difficult in the beginning. It's like a train, you have to be able to put it in movement. And I think it's the same for every company and every startup, especially in production. In the beginning, you are losing money, so you need to reach a level of a certain volume to be able to have a break even. So I wouldn't change a lot of things.
So what are some of the values that you started with when your company was a startup, but you still have them till now?
So first of all, what is very, very important to all of us when you do something, get really extremely deep into the knowledge of what you're doing. Don't be satisfied too fast. Really continue to search, continue to study. If you think you have arrived, then you're absolutely wrong, because we never arrive. So you should permanently put yourself in question and continue to ask the good questions. That's very important.
Oh, nice. Anything else? I see you had something else you wanted to say.
Yes, and so the second thing, first of all, is to acquire the knowledge. Second of all, is to really keep focusing. What you should do is sleep, work. That's absolutely what you should do in the beginning to be able to reach, because nothing falls out of the sky like this. Every company which has success, it's only the fruit of the work which has been, the energy which has been done, which has been given to the company. And first of all, never give up. That's very important. I can give many examples of so many no's I had. Sometimes I can give an example. I wanted to create a partnership with somebody, and I had 10 times a no. I had to take every time the plane to go see him. 10 times he said no, and the 11th time I think he wanted to get rid of me. He said yes. But that's very important, because many people, they would not, after 4 or 5 or 6 times, they would say, okay, it's 4 or 5, 6 times no. Do not give up. If you're sure that it's the right thing, continue and never give up.
That's nice. So I have to ask this question. I see you here with your family, your wife and children. I'd like to know how important has been your family in your life and in your business.
Very, very important, because the family is the most important for everybody in the world. You have family, then you have profession, your friends, but first of all, it's always the family. So that's very clear, and I'm very happy that I'm able to be here together with our children, because that's really much nicer to be able to share what we are doing here today.
Nice.
So thank you.
So fast forward to Dominiek Studios, and you already have your work in Belgium, your company there, but you decide to come and invest in guys here in Africa. What really motivated you?
I have been very lucky to be able to travel a lot, and in every country where you go, there are needs. There are people in need. Even in Europe, a lot of people are in need, but also in Africa, of course, there's a lot of need. And we are blessed that we are able to help other people, that we are able to inspire other people. And as I just said in the beginning, we only give some fuel, because it's you guys and girls and ladies and boys who are doing it. You are the engine, you are the heart, you are creative, you are innovative, you are taking the initiative. And we are just giving some fuel to help you to achieve it.
And then would you attribute that to the fact that you had so many no's when you were starting? So when you see someone with an idea, you want to really help them, because you remember there was a time someone didn't want to help you.
Yeah. I think it's very important as a human being that we help each other. That's extremely important, and if people are able to help, that's so you get so much in return. You get so much warmth and love back from the people. So it's really important to help other people, and that's really what we are doing all our life already. And that's also something that we want to show to our children, that they hopefully continue to do the same in future.
And nice. One important question is, how do you feel now that you have officially launched Dominiek Studios?
I am very enthusiastic. I'm very happy to be here, and I promise when I'm back in Belgium, I will listen to Dominiek Studios.
Woo! That's nice. So I want to ask one last question about Africa. I mean, you're from Belgium, but what do you think is the future of Africa?
I think the potential of the future of Africa is very very important. There's a lot of young people in Africa. There's a young population. If you look at Europe, economy-wise spoken, Europe is getting an old lady. It's getting more and more difficult to have growth in Europe. If you look in Africa, the potential of growth for the next 10, 20 years is huge. So I really believe that Africa is going to be the continent to be, going to be the place to be, in order to develop and in order to create jobs, in order to create welfare for the people living in the continent.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much for your insights here. We are sadly ending this conversation, but thank you so much for your insight. Thank you so much for coming here and helping us launch Dominiek Studios, and we will definitely want to host you again and again and again.
It will be a pleasure.
Before you leave, what is one pledge you would love to make?
One pledge I will love to make. I promise I will come at least once a year to see you.
That's nice. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, guys. That was Mr. Dominiek with us. He has really given us insights. And this was an official launch of Dominiek Studios here at Gilitex Media. We are so honored to see you and to hear from you. And we can't wait to hear from you again. And everyone else who has been here. It has been great. My name is Diana Wambui. And we were with Mr. Dominiek. And of course, the great DJ. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe. From Mombasa, Kenya, this is Blue Radio. You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.